Hello and good evening. A family from South London say they're still searching for answers more than 2 years after their son died whilst being restrained by police at a psychiatric hospital. 23-year-old Olaseni Lewis died after being held down for a total of 45 minutes by as many as 11 officers. His parents claim the investigation into his death by the police watchdog is deeply flawed. Our special correspondent Kurt Barling has this exclusive report.
Seni Lewis was a 23-year-old graduate with no previous history of mental illness. Within 18 hours of being taken to hospital, he was all but dead. His family buried him 2 years ago. Still, they wait for answers.
We knew he wasn't well and he needed help, more help than we could give him. So it really made us feel that we had to take him to a place of safety where professionals would look after him, would see what was wrong, would do some tests, and he would get better.
After displaying uncharacteristic, odd and agitated behaviour, his parents took him to A&E. They were referred to the South London and Maudsley Psychiatric Hospital.
When Seni Lewis arrived here at the Maudsley, he was in an agitated state and he couldn't settle. In fact, he left the hospital pursued by staff and ended up at Denmark Hill Station, where he was coaxed back. But then the decision was made that there was no bed available for him here.
So he was transferred by taxi with his mother and 2 nurses to Bethlehem Royal in West Wickham. They arrived at around 5 p.m. and after visiting hours ended at 8, they left.
But by the early evening, police had been called, and it's not quite clear why, and Seni Lewis was restrained not once, but 3 times. Hospital guidelines say a patient shouldn't be restrained for more than 10 minutes. On the 3rd time he was restrained here that evening, he was restrained for considerably longer.
In fact, for a total of 45 minutes in the hour prior to his collapse. The unexplained death in custody triggered an internal hospital inquiry and an IPCC investigation, which was officially completed a year ago.
The family has faced 12 months on with no progress since then. The reasons, we are told, is to do with oversight and confusion at the IPCC.
The South London and Maudsley Trust say they've striven to improve their policies and practice. The IPCC said today they're waiting for additional advice and clarity from the Crown Prosecution Service on elements of their investigation. Its new chair, Dame Anne Owers, has already launched a review of death in custody investigations. Meanwhile, the Lewises continue to wait for answers.
How were the police called? Why were they called to a psychiatric hospital? Why wasn't I told? Why weren't we told? He'd been restrained and stopped breathing.
Obviously, it's something I'm going to live with to the day I die. It doesn't go away.
Yesterday, the family finally were able to lay a memorial plaque for Seni Lewis. They've not yet abandoned hope of finding out what happened and why at an inquest due to start next spring. Kurt Barling, BBC London News.
Coming up later in